Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to our show. We have gathered together from the cosmic reaches of the multiverse, two of the nerdiest geeks to be found. We proudly present the professor and her geeky girlness herself, Ace. And now it's time. GeekyKOOL presents Professor and Ace.
Hey guys! Started running a few minutes late.
We were talking. We were talking about what we were going to talk about, and we just got a little wrapped up in it. So we're good. We're good. I'm going to share this.
Well, that's what makes our friendships all fun, is that we get to talk about this stuff. So we want to talk about the DC Fandome happened over the weekend.
Oh my gosh.
And honestly, because I'd actually tried to do a couple of the other conventions that we're doing, kind of the digital conventions, attended some panels and some other things earlier in the summer. There were some things for Planet Comic-Con that did that. There were some things with San Diego that did that. And I just never really got into it. I
don't think a lot of people got into it.
But Fandome seems to have caught people's attention. Yeah.
It was huge. Well, they dropped everything, like not everything, but they dropped enough that it piqued everybody, even people who aren't huge DC fans.
Yeah.
Their attention, from video game trailers to movie trailers to the TV show things to I didn't see this, but Keith was enlightening us and comic book news and all kinds of stuff. So it was really exciting. I was catching glimpses of it while I was at work. Like people were like, did you see this? Did you see that?
Well, and Keith, just so you know, I tried to get Brittany to come on to join us, because I know Brittany would have been pumped by all this. I watched one of those trailers and went, okay, Brittany is running in circles excited about this. So when you talk to Brittany,
when she was at work during all this, I sent her stuff because I couldn't do it alone. I was just after I saw the Suicide Squad introduction trailer, let alone the behind the scenes video and all that stuff was just literally took what was left of my mind and went, well, we're out of here. Boom.
Well, and honestly, for a guy who's been critical of a lot of the DC stuff, which I have been, I thought everything I saw, I was impressed with. I really went, okay, they have stepped up their game. They have said now to Marvel, you better bring it because we're bringing it now.
Well, I feel like they had to.
Yeah.
They had to. Like they unfortunately have made so many mistakes, like production-wise and people trying to control things and creative stuff, that they had to bring it, because if they didn't, they were never going to catch up. They were never.
Oh, they would have caught up. It would have taken them a while. It would have taken them even longer. But look, there are things, or have been things, going on behind the scenes far longer than many of us have known.
Oh, yeah.
The whole thing about how the phone call the day after Thanksgiving last year was really the kickoff to how Zack Snyder came back into all this.
Right.
And the fact of who called him, how that person was made to call him, and all of the intricate things that happened. But look, all of this is because AT&T has been taking a look at the books. They've been going through the personnel. This isn't a DC thing. This was rot from inside of Warner Brothers that has infected DC and other areas of the company, which is why when that Tuesday rolled around, it was the night of 800 screens, and it was just, this had to happen. And they did it on purpose, to do it days before they had this event, to make sure that all these 800 people realized, look, you're not just fired, but you're out of here. Don't ever come back. We're going to burn it down the next time we see you. You're gone. And they had to do it. But it made for a better event. And it made I think a lot more people happy. Now, some people are still unhappy because those are the ones that have avoided being let go. There are still some unhappy people at Warner Brothers about the whole Zack Snyder thing. But now that we have seen it,
oh my gosh,
you can now see why they were trying to stop it from coming out, because it looks completely different.
It does.
It looks completely different. So let's just talk about that one first.
Well, before we jump on there, we've got a comment already, and I do want to point out we've got 6 people watching us live, which may be a record. We thank you guys for tuning in with us. Please come back next week and tune in with us. Also, I mean, we may or may not have the beautiful Keith with us, but here's our first comment, and he's exactly right. Our good friend Jason Lee Knight says, Keith rules. Hey, Jason, hit me up if you want to come on. Hit me up, because we'll pull you in, buddy. I was thinking of you and Brittany with this show. So, yeah. So, and we've got William Spriggs also saying, yeah. We are talking about the slaughter, but we're talking about how that led to the DC Fandome. So that's exactly right. The slaughter, my gosh, that was crazy. And
it is the beginning. It is the beginning because of what happened the day before the slaughter. Okay, you do realize what happened the day before the slaughter.
Remind us.
The numbers came in for Disney.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Disney lost $5 billion. So I have been saying now for over a year, whatever happens to Warner Brothers and DC is going to happen to Disney and Marvel. And it is not a thing where, I'm trying to be mean about it. This is business. It is all business. And so right now, if you are a Disney employee, and definitely if you're working for Marvel, if your name isn't Kevin Feige, I'd be updating that resume about now, because
Well, it's true.
Or at least stepping up your game.
Right. Well, I think sometimes it might be a little too late to step up your game. Like the numbers, and that's what I've always talked about with people. And like, I love movies, I love comics, I love all of that, but if the numbers aren't there, there's reasons behind that. There are too many comic book fans. There are too many superhero fans to not get the numbers if you do it correctly.
Right.
And studios are not doing it correctly. It has nothing to do. This proves the Snyder Cut, and watching the trailer, and just watching the trailer, and how amazing the visuals were, and how amazing. I love that there's a storyline with like other characters that there should have been a storyline with forever. The Flash, Cyborg, all of them, you actually get to see backstory. Yes, it's going to be 4 hours plus long, but there was a time in Hollywood when epic movies were 4 hours long, and this should have been an epic movie, period. It should have been an epic movie. I understand. Cut it. Let's try to get it under 2 hours to like roll over. And it's all about money. It's about rolling over the audience so that you don't have somebody sitting in the theater for 4 hours when you can have 2 groups of people sitting in the theater for 2 hours. But
as long as your story is good, the length of time doesn't matter as much. I'm not saying it's not important, but if your story is solid, then you can tell. Look, the original cut of Superman the movie was a movie in excess of almost 3 hours.
Yep.
Okay, that's the first one. So for anybody saying, well, DC couldn't do that, they could do that. They could do that. But your story has to be good. Yep. Story is important. More so than anything else, your story is important. And you had a director that was telling a story, and he got basically waylaid by his producer and stabbed in the back by a guy who was brought in to help him rewrite. And it is unseemly what happened. And then you had the head, the CEO, who was the real villain in sabotaging everything and making the decisions that he did, even with Joss Whedon, in not giving Joss Whedon more time to finish the movie, all because he wanted his Christmas bonus.
And
Right.
that's the thing. It all boils down. I know people are comparing the Joss Whedon with the Snyder. You can't help it. It was technically supposed to be the same movie. It is not the same movie. It is not the same story. It is not the same. Like you have the same bad guy. That's basically the only similarities. But Joss Whedon his hands were tied too. He didn't have time. The budget was like messed up. What he was thrown into and said, redo all of this. And then the actors were not happy with it. You can see it on their performances. Like, I feel bad for him because he's an artist too. And he tried to produce art that, yes, it did not go over well, but most of those choices were not based on I feel like they're not his choices. They were like things that were thrown in on him.
And I agree with that. Yeah.
And Snyder, they I wish they would have come out with the Snyder. Like, I wish it would have none of that would have happened and we would have gotten a Snyder, because I feel like it would have helped propel the DCU more. It is already, the trailer just came out and people are already like psyched about it. I feel like a lot of the times money and power drive art, and it makes it harder and it makes it more difficult. I'm super stoked about the Snyder Cut. I actually got Disney or HBO Max just because we're watching other things too.
Doom Patrol.
I broke down. We were watching other things too, but it was because I was like, I'm just gonna have it in place when this comes out. For this, because super excited. I love the part about Justice League that I love, and I'm not a huge DC fan, is the fact that I love the characters who aren't Batman and Superman. I know that sounds bad, but
no, it's not bad at all.
I love the Flash. I love Cyborg. And when the movie came out, the Whedon one, I'm like, they're just thrown in there weirdly. Like, they didn't tell enough of their backstory for you to be invested in these characters' performances, these actors' performances. And this one, I love. I love all the things I've seen about it. So, super excited.
I'm very critical of Batman versus Superman, especially with the darkness of that movie, and how I didn't think it portrayed Superman correctly. But, and so I've been looking at it going, do I really care about Snyder's version? Because I'm not a fan of Man of Steel, nor am I a fan of Batman versus Superman. Didn't hate the movies, just wasn't a fan.
Either version?
Neither version. I've watched both.
Wow.
I wasn't a fan. I just was like, okay, to me, it wasn't Superman, but I'm a Christopher Reeve Superman guy, so anyway.
I like the darker, so I'm okay with it.
Like, I don't mind darker if it's like Batman's supposed to be darker. Superman's not supposed to be.
Yeah,
and that was my problem with it. So,
but that gets us to what Justice League was originally meant to be.
Right.
You're talking with Zack Snyder. It was originally meant to be 3 movies, and Warner Brothers talked him down to 2.
Right.
Meaning that a lot of the stuff that he was trying to do had to be parsed down before they even started filming.
Right.
And I'm excited about the possibility of Zack Snyder getting a chance to do Justice League 2. Because that story, have you heard that story? The story that he had for everybody was literally, all 3 of those movies would have been Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame in 3 movies. He's packed that kind of stuff in there. And the fact that there are other heroes that are packed into this movie with Justice League, you weren't just getting who you saw. You're going to get at least 3 more DC heroes in this movie. 3.
And who are the 3?
The 3? You're going to get Green Lantern, Hal Jordan. You're going to get
Ryan Reynolds.
No, because you're talking about doing a Justice League 2, and Ryan Reynolds won't do Justice League 2. You're going to also see Martian Manhunter.
Yes. Oh, yes.
You didn't know about that?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm spoiling. Well, this was Zach put it out there. The scene in the trailer where Martha and Lois are hugging.
Yes. Uh-huh.
It's not what you think it is. and then the third being the Atom, Ryan Choi.
Uh-huh.
He works at Star Labs. And all of this was done when Snyder was done. According to Snyder, he was completely done filming the main portion of the movie by the end of the year that year in 2016.
Yeah.
So they could have easily have just given him just another month or two to basically finish off the little things he had to do, worked on the visual effects. This movie would have been in, out, and done by November. And they didn't do it. And thus everything that's happened. But we were getting three more heroes. And the scene where Martha is out in the hallway, what it is that at the end of the scene, Martha's standing in the hallway and she morphs into General Swanwick, the guy from Man of Steel.
Yeah.
The general. Well, guess what? That's the Martian Manhunter.
Right.
He's been hiding because the version they're doing of it is the version originally from the comics, which means that according to the comics, Martian Manhunter's been here on Earth longer than even Superman.
Yes.
Because he's been having to hide. It's part of his, so he does that. And what better way for him to be in a place where he can know what the United States government and the governments of the world know about extraterrestrials than being a general as the head of a department that handles that stuff.
Right.
So that was the big thing for me. And the fact that we're going to get all three of them, and then with what The Rock said and his plans and the Justice Society and Hawkman and how they're going to tie Hawkman into Black Adam. And if you do the original version of Hawkman with him having to live multiple lives, that means he was there when Black Adam first came up. Oh my God, this is huge!
Which is from the comics. I mean, that's how he was in the Justice Society. So let me throw up some comments. We've got several comments from Mason here. He wants to say hi.
Hi.
And he loves GeekyKOOL. Thank you, Mason. We do appreciate that. Tell all your friends about us. Post on Facebook, wherever. We love that. Thank you. And he says hi to you and me, Keith. So, hey, Mason. And Christopher Reeves. Yes, I'm with you. Christopher Reeves is my Superman. So, and sorry you're late. Well, we're glad you're here. You're not too late. We're really just getting going.
You're right on time.
I agree. Jason Momoa, even though I'm more of a fan of, the look of the original Aquaman, just because, and I love how they portray him in Batman Brave and the Bold cartoon, that over-the-top, zealous personality. Love that. Now, I like what Jason Momoa is doing. I don't have any problem with that. So my problem wasn't Momoa or anybody else. It was really Superman and Batman that were my problems.
Right.
No Ryan Reynolds. Yep.
Well, they were gonna look. All of that was gonna get fixed. That's what the plot of Snyder's 3 Justice League movies were. You were going to see Superman, as portrayed by Henry Cavill, become the Superman that you wanted him to be.
Right.
That was part of the plot.
Well, and he sort of did in the one that got put out. He sort of did that.
Yes,
but not really understanding why. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yes, Mason, we do see. We were waiting to get through that discussion, but keep commenting because we're happy to post these up here for you.
Yeah, and also, guys, just so you know, if there's a comment, there's a little bit of a lag from when you post a comment to when the professor can see it to put it up. It's just how the streaming service works, and so sometimes it'll take us a couple minutes to even get that. But it doesn't mean we're not watching and we're going to respond to you. It just takes us a little time sometimes.
That's exactly right. Well, I don't want to interrupt the middle of a thought to be able to get there. But since we were talking about the Snyder Cut, let me throw that up here for us so we can see the Snyder Cut do that a little bit live here. We're going to do that for a few of these things.
Yep.
And share this screen here. Yeah, share that screen.
I have to go get something to drink. I'll be right back.
Okay. Sure, she leaves us now. Okay. All right, Keith. So you're going to have to tell us what all is going on here with some of this, because some of it, come on, play. Why aren't you playing? Play the movie. No. I don't know. I hate when sometimes technology doesn't work all the time. Now that's an interesting look for Darkseid there.
That's because he's known as Abraxas. That's early in the movie. That's
Okay.
actually centuries ago.
Okay.
And then this is the Hall of Justice that's been destroyed. This is the whole future thing. This next scene is taken. That's the signal arrow from Themyscira.
Right.
This is Bruce going over the technical schematics and information in the Batcave. This is the whole Aquaman sequence, the way it was originally meant to be.
Well, and I love that they have
There we get Cyborg.
Yeah. Oh, I love that, because that showed me they're going to go into their actual histories.
Now, this is from the original version of the beginning of the movie. And look, I already know this, but the actual beginning of Justice League will probably make Larry a little uncomfortable. All those people, I think, are going to die.
Great.
Yeah, the whole terrorist thing, the terrorists were successful in the original version of it.
This was like, oh, and this, like, he actually looks like a bad guy that you would fear. Like,
yes.
I was like comparing.
This was a surprise.
Like,
The
right
death
there.
of Silas Stone.
Yep.
Yes. This is just awesome. And the fact that Superman will be wearing his black suit throughout the entire movie.
So that's the scene that you're like.
Yeah.
So how do we explain the black suit?
Basically, Cal doesn't think he's earned it until the end. He basically becomes kind of like a bad guy. He gets corrupted, and that's part of the plot of the first Justice League movie. And I will give Joss Whedon this credit for what he had to redo in order to undo or get beyond what Zack had put together. He really did try his best to create something that could be told in one movie, but he didn't have the time to really smooth it out. But considering how long he'd been working with it, remember, he was not brought in as the director. He was brought in to help redo the script to add more humor. And so he was on set while Zack was there. But then came the whole flip when Zack was conveniently pushed out.
Yeah.
And Jeff Johns goes, man, I wonder where. Oh, wait a minute. We happen to have somebody.
Yeah.
Jeff Johns comes out as a villain in all of this because he's just, dude.
Well, and the guy's a great writer. Jeff Johns is a great writer.
Would you say he's the biggest DC villain ever?
No, that's Kevin Tsujihara. Kevin Tsujihara killed the DC film universe with his mismanagement. Yeah. And it's great. Look, it's kind of poetic justice that he got fired eventually, although for something completely different. Right. But he did get fired. I just think that for all those people at Warner Brothers that were, not very nice to Zack and his ideas, AT&T is your reckoning. AT&T is coming through and they are just cleaning house. So if you're going to speak up and talk out of turn about how much you think, this is not right. I don't like Zack and Zack. There's the door. Don't let it hit you with a good word split you. Come on.
Well,
you don't have to like somebody to appreciate their artistic vision.
Mm,
I worked
right.
in the past with a lot of people who personally I don't hang out with. I know that sounds bad, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Their artistic vision was one thing, and it was something I could get behind. No, I loved it. I did find that, you know, the music choice for the trailer was a fun hallelujah. Like I was like, oh, that's a little bit of a like, you know, thank the gods we got this, because it's gonna.
Well, that plus the fact that it was used in his movie Watchmen.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
which
and
some
the
people
scene
have
that he was
complained
used-
about.
Yeah, those people are going to complain anyway, I
Well,
think.
I don't disagree. And I liked Watchmen, by the way. So I don't disdain Zach. I actually liked what he did with Watchmen, but Watchmen was supposed to be that way. Now, Watchmen changed some things that I wish it hadn't, but overall, I thought it was a great adaptation of a classic story. So, I'm very...
They were going to look, Zach was going to give you what you wanted. He was just adding a different route to get there.
Sure.
Because, in my opinion, Superman is the greatest of all superheroes. But the one thing that usually gets left out of his story is the fact that, and we talked about this before, it's a science fiction story, is really what it is. And when you pay attention to that part of it, if you are trying to do something for a story that is over 80 years old,
right?
And this would be Hollywood's 7th, 8th time telling this story in 80 years.
Yeah.
You know, after a while, you do run into kind of like a thing where people are going to get pissy no matter what you do with it. Now, I will admit the Pa Kent thing, as far as his death. You know, but I like how smart everything else was. I like how you can figure out the time period for both of these heroes when they were growing up and the whole 9 yards. I mean, by looking with Bruce and Batman v Superman, by him coming out of a movie theater with Excalibur up there, you can now tell what year that was.
Right.
And you can also tell what year it was when Clark was in school. And yeah, there's a definite age difference between
Right.
And a difference in life and a difference in everything. I don't know if Zach's going to stick with his original ending to his 3-movie epic for Justice League, because somebody's going to die. One of the major characters is going to bite it big time in his original story.
Right.
But it kind of is reminiscent of another comic, which I think Snyder took an idea from, which is he took Kingdom Come as one of his ideas. In fact, that's where Diana's costume comes. That gold costume in that woman, that comes from Kingdom Come. That is Diana's fight armor from Kingdom Come.
Yep.
And so, look, these people are actually paying attention. When you allow the artists the ability and the time and to communicate what they have, you're going to find all kinds of goodies. And there are more than enough characters to get the job done.
Right.
In the case of Justice League, this is just, I think Zach has earned the opportunity that if Justice League does well for HBO Max, he should be allowed to at least do the sequel. I want to see Mad Max Batman again.
Right. I agree. And if anything, that just from the hype, from just the trailer, and even before the trailer, people were like, "We want the Snyder Cut. We want the Snyder Cut." Just the fans that have spoken, I feel like I don't think it's going to fail at all. And I feel like they should probably go ahead and greenlight him to do that, just because I feel like if they don't and they wait, sometimes that ball doesn't keep going.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Look, changes are coming. Okay. Yeah. The thing is, will Zach be a part of the changes, or will he just do this one thing and go off and do something else? Because no matter what, J.J. Abrams is there.
Yeah.
You have Dwayne Johnson is there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And you have oh man, I can't believe I pissed on the dude's name. The director of the Batman. You have
Matt
Reeves.
Reeves.
Right.
Matt Reeves is actually one of J.J. Abrams' people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you have is Dwayne Johnson, who has an idea of what he wants DC to be, and as far as he's concerned, there is nothing wrong with the DCEU. Okay, if you had a problem with it, the problem was you.
Right.
The difference is he wants to show everyone what the DCEU could be if you had the right person controlling the whole thing and giving us all these great stories. And he's elected himself the person to do it. And he's decided, you know what? Henry Cavill should come along for the ride, because you cannot buy the kind of loyalty and the kind of authenticity that he brings. If you've ever heard any interviews with Henry Cavill is to Warner Brothers really what Hugh Jackman was to 20th Century Fox with the X-Men. And he is, the way he is, can be as big as anything you saw with Chris Evans in the MCU.
Right.
But you need to get there. And if you allow Snyder to get us there, we will have that Superman that everybody enjoys, because Henry Cavill gets it. He gets it. And he understands the character. He's willing to pimp out and wear the shirts and take pictures with fans and sign autographs. He goes to conventions. He's a gamer. He gets it. In fact, he's the most tuned in, turned on dude out of everybody. He's a geek.
He's a fan of the character that he's playing. I always love it when it's the same reason Ryan Reynolds, I know we brought him up a little bit because of the Green Lantern, but it's the same reason he played Deadpool, and that he brought that character to life, and Deadpool succeeded as much because he was a fan. And Henry Cavill is a fan of Superman. And it shows. It shows in everything that he does. Probably casting wise, I can't imagine right now anyone else in Hollywood who I would cast as Superman right now over him. And that's saying a lot, because we play that game here at this house all the time. Like, who would we recast? And,
it'd be Tom Cruise. Oh gosh!
You know what? Tom Cruise would make an interesting 1960s version of Nick Fury.
No, that's true.
But I really wouldn't. I mean, we've already seen what he looks like with a patch. So he looks good. So
let's put Tom Cruise in this. Okay.
Well, and we'll talk about Suicide Squad, because I love some of the people they casted there. Nathan Fillion as Peacemaker. Oh my gosh! So we'll get there. Now we've got some other comments, so let's throw these comments up. All right, Mason was responding to us about us kind of getting after him for being patient. We weren't really after you, Mason. We just kind of wanted to make it understood in general. And then he's had several other comments also. So let's we thank you for that, because we try really hard to make Geeky Cool awesome. And you being a person who's watching and reading with us, we appreciate that, because we don't know who's actually reading most of the time. So we do appreciate that.
So, Mason, what he mentioned there is Dutchy is my LARPing days. So when I LARPed, I went. Mason was one of the LARPers that we would. Great. He LARPed.
That's awesome, Mason. I've always wanted to LARP. I've never quite done it, but I've been around a bunch of LARPers, and I'm just role player, everything else. So I've been like, I'd like to do that at some point.
I role play as me every year.
Well, that's a great place to be, Keith. So William here. Are you more for the Space Squid? Actually, the Space Squid didn't make a lot of sense in the comics to me, so I didn't mind the way Watchmen ended. It was more of just the way Rorschach did a few things and some of the other things. But overall, I love the way they handled the Watchmen.
I thought the Watchmen was really, really it's one of those comics that I liked, but I just didn't know how it was going to translate into a movie. And so let's see here.
Yeah. Well, look. Something tells me that we will eventually get that. Okay, from in the aftermath of everything that has come out now since DC Fandome Part 1 has happened, it's looking like we're going to have Ben Affleck back for a while. Now that Jeff Johns isn't there to screw with his mind and a few other things. Again, when somebody's going through a bad time in their lives, that is not the time to mess with people. And to me, there is no explanation that Jeff Johns can give, because this was a man who was truly suffering. Not as much as Zack Snyder for losing a child. This is a man who was going through a very bad and dark time in his life. He needed positivity. He needed encouragement. And all Jeff Johns did was just push him over the edge to get him out of the way so he could do a movie with some. I mean, really? I mean, are you that dark in the soul to do that to someone else?
Right.
I'm just, look, he's a great writer. I get that, but that's a little dark for me, and I don't know if I could ever really, get past that personally.
That would be really hard to. Yeah, I agree.
But now that he's back, it's great.
Okay, guys. So
a few more messages here. Black Adam. Yes, we are excited about Black Adam. I wish there was actually a trailer for that. I mean, they sort of, but yeah.
They did the best with what they had.
Well, yeah. Right.
So let's talk about some of the other things we saw.
Well, let me get through all of these, and then we'll jump right there.
That's true. Suicide Squad. Yep. Let's talk about that.
All right. So we're through all the comments, but yes. So let's put the Suicide Squad up here. Let's pull that up, and then we can talk about it.
This one made me so happy because of the casting.
The casting is great. I completely agree with that. Casting is phenomenal in it.
And the characters are bringing in. Like, oh, look. The Suicide Squad. There was one character I had to look up when I saw the Suicide Squad trailer, and that was the it's Nathan Fillion's character, TDK.
Yep.
And I'm
like, that's a new character. That is a new character. But that character. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It made me think of the Destruction Kid, or the Destructor Kid, or the one who, like, his limbs aren't attached, like that guy. The picture, but I was like, I don't think they ever called him TDK, and so I had to look that up. But yeah, I did not realize that was a new character until I looked it up, and I was like, I'm super excited about that. Like, first of all, it's Nathan Fillion. He's like, whatever. Like, that's gonna crack me up so much. But
Captain Tight Pants.
Right?
Look, John Cena as Peacemaker.
Yeah.
And the way that they described how that character is, I was going to see this movie anyway, but I am there day one. If you think of him as a douchey Captain America.
Right.
That's the exact way that John Cena said that's how he played him. As a douchey Captain America.
That was perfect, because that character, that really does describe what that character is like in the comics. So
yeah.
All right, let's play it, and then we can react to it as it's going, and then talk about it.
Cool.
Well, if I can hit the play button, here we go.
Right? Look at all these. Like, I'm.
It just looks so over the top. It's amazing.
Polka Dot Man. That I was like, oh my god, they brought out Polka Dot Man. Like, that was just
David Dastmalchian, who's a Kansas City guy. David Dastmalchian is a Kansas City guy.
I did not know that. That's awesome.
Yep.
I was super excited. Like, I love Peter Capaldi. I've
loved
him for years, and him as the Thinker. I think that's going to be great. Like, just the casting alone got me excited for this. Like,
Yeah.
and then I saw this, and then I saw that other, like the little clip where it just has like the characters and who, you know, is playing them. I was just like, yes. It was really beautifully cast.
It is. I like the fact that they're wearing comic book accurate costumes.
Yes.
Right.
And just this movie is going to be so much fun. I cannot see me not enjoying this film. Okay, the guy that was just on there, his name's Charles Roven. You got to understand something about him.
So let's go back to which one?
Charles Roven. You just passed by him.
Charles
Roven. Yeah, he's one of the talking heads.
Yep.
Older man, white there.
Yeah.
Now, this guy Charles Roven is very, very important. Okay, he started out with Christopher Nolan on Batman Begins. He was the producer through all three of those movies. And he was the one tapped by Warner Brothers to be the producer for all the rest of their superhero movies. So from Batman Begins through all three of those films, Man of Steel, all of it. His name is in all of those. Well, when Jeff Johns and John Bird came in and did what they did and screwed up that movie, the first person Warner Brothers fired within 2 weeks of the movie coming out was Charles Roven.
Oh.
And he lost his job immediately. And then eventually Warner Brothers got around to firing. They fired Jeff Johns, John Bird, brought in Walter Hamada, because Walter Hamada is the man running DC Films right now. He's everybody's boss.
Right.
So he runs all of it. To see that Walter Hamada has brought Charles Roven back to make him the producer of Suicide Squad shows exactly what I have been saying. Charles Roven's the man. And he literally produced every single one of the movies except two. And those were two that were done while he didn't have a job. And that was Aquaman, which he would have been a producer on, and Shazam. Those are the only two. And both of those would have been produced by him.
That's interesting.
So it's sweet justice. Sweet justice. So to me, that one thing there in the midst of everything that we saw was, to me, the most gratifying thing I saw, because that was the right thing to do, is to get him back in there and to allow him to do what he was doing before. Because this guy's instincts are dead on. He is a phenomenal producer. And again, he understood from the very beginning. He got Christopher Nolan, he got in there with him, and when it was time to journey off and to break off and do Man of Steel, Charles Roven came over, headed up all of that. And it has been on the case ever since. And it's great. I'm happy. I'm happy that he's back. But Suicide Squad,
it looks like a ton of fun.
It does. And it looks like, okay, I love Margot as Harley Quinn, I do. But the other Suicide Squad movie I felt was like so Harley heavy, just because she was so popular at the time, and I just wanted more characters. Suicide Squad was such a big group of characters.
Right.
And that movie didn't portray that as well as I had wanted it to, and that I hoped to. This one, it's bringing characters that I like didn't forget existed, but they're like characters that just don't pop out, as much. And I love that, because I feel like they're finally going to, like, tell the story of Suicide Squad with like all these characters, which is great. Keith knows stuff. I love it when I say stuff and Keith knows stuff, because he's like, I hit on stuff. Do I hit on stuff, Keith? And then it's just like AJ's hitting on stuff.
Pass right by. I'm just gonna let it pass right by.
I know one of the rumors is they will have a Suicide Squad at the beginning that gets killed, and then another one forms afterwards. So some of the characters you're seeing may not live very long. but that's rumor.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's the way the comics are. And in issue number 1 of John Ostrander's version of Suicide Squad from the 80s, that's exactly what they did in the first issue.
Right.
And I think the only ones that survived that first mission was Flag, Bronze Tiger, and one other person. And everybody else got off. Everybody else died. And given the history of that group, I'm hoping that they tie that into the complete history of the Suicide Squad. Not just the version that everybody knows that started in the 1960s. What I'm talking about is the 1940s version of it with the original members of the Suicide Squad. That was kind of like DC's version of Mission Impossible, but in the military. You know, and I like that. And I like that version of Flag's dad. I love that version of that character. I'm hoping that somebody that knows comics can do that for Warner Brothers and just do a whole World War II type of series of films where you connect all of DC's World War II characters together and eventually bring them together in a live action version of the New Frontier. That's what I would eventually like to see. I want to see Sergeant Rock. I want to see Black Hawk, which that name has been coming up a lot in the last 48 to 72 hours.
Really?
I keep telling people there's a reason for that. There is history for that. In the history of DC Comics, in the movies, Black Hawk was the first non-superhero character that DC had adapted as a film. And the actor that made his debut and was the first actor to ever play Superman, Kirk Allen, played Black Hawk. Almost 4 years after he did that. So Black Hawk is actually one of the few non-superhero comic book DC characters. I mean, he's been in Hollywood for a long time, and his story would be a nice story to tell all these other stories because you can connect Black Hawk to everybody because of what Black Hawk does.
Right.
Yeah. He's like when you play the game that everybody was playing with the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. He's like the 6 Degrees of Black Hawk in the DC universe.
Yes.
Everybody is connected to him. No, I love that. I have heard his name thrown out by like rumors, like people were talking about him, and I was like, I didn't see any announcement or anything, so I figured it was just like inside things that people were like hinting about.
Spielberg.
Are you okay?
I am now.
Well, guys, let me be right back.
I have a filmmaker in my throat.
I'll be right back. I got to turn on a light because it's getting a little dark in here. So.
Let me at least just say this. There are a lot of goodies on the table for DC.
Yeah.
If they manage to, if the Snyder Cut manages to be as good as we're hoping,
right?
I hope this will have an effect on David Ayer's version, or at least his want to put out his version of Suicide Squad, because I would love to see all the stuff that was originally intended for Suicide Squad that Warner Brothers and Kevin Tsujihara made them change in order to make it more brighter and more colorful. And I keep telling people, if you really want to know something that'll blow your mind about Suicide Squad, you know all that stuff in Suicide Squad about the Enchantress and her brother? That never existed in the original script. That was actually rewritten, and that was new stuff because they had to match what the original version of the third act was to have been. You notice how big her brother got?
Yeah.
Concentrate on his form and his outline. What does that look like to you?
I'd have to watch that all over again, Keith.
Well, just picture how he looked. He was wearing metal. He had horns. Who does that remind you of?
Could it be Satan?
Close. Close. Try Steppenwolf.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
The original villain of Suicide Squad, the version that David Ayer was actually making was Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf was controlling the Enchantress because he was using her to try to find the boxes. That was the plot of the movie. And according to David Ayer and a production picture he may have put online, there was also someone else that was revealed into the third act of Suicide Squad who you didn't see in the official Warner version of the movie.
Darkseid?
Joker was going to be in. Joker was working. He eventually teams up with Enchantress.
Okay.
And in the third act, Harley. Okay, what they did was in David Ayer's version, Harley begins to think on her relationship with Joker.
Right.
And that's why they filmed all of the dark scenes of their relationship. And as she gets to know Deadshot better, the two of them start to basically have the beginnings of a relationship. And she starts to compare and contrast who he is as a person and a man versus Joker. Because in his mind, in Floyd's mind, yeah, he's a bad guy. But he's a guy that he's working. He takes money to kill people. Yes, he kills people, but he's not trying to take over the world. Right. He's got a daughter that grounds him, that whole 9 yards. He's a father. He's a dad. And he's the kind of guy that Harley begins to think, you know, this is a guy here. This is a man. Right. Versus this guy that I'm attached to.
Who's an insane control freak, narcissist, horrible boyfriend. I always get so mad when people post on Facebook and stuff, and this is just a me thing, when they post the picture of Harley and Joker and they're like, relationship goals, and I'm like, no, on so many levels. Like, that man is like beyond toxic. He's abusive, he's toxic. Like, that relationship is not a relationship. That is, So I would like to see that. Like, the Joker teaming up with the Enchantress would have been interesting.
And then it puts a different spin on the scene where when she's escaping with Joker, when Amanda Waller hires Deadshot to kill her, it puts a different spin on why he missed.
Oh, see? Stories that should have been included in movies. That's a whole other thing.
Well, they had to come up with since they already had the third act done, and they came up with a CGI skeleton for that scene. You had to replace Steppenwolf with someone else of the same size, same build, and same outline. So they created the whole thing about her brother, so that would be the person who Diablo fights in the third act.
Right.
And
which didn't make a lot of sense.
Yes, but also I wanted to see Desaad. Desaad makes a cameo appearance in the movie. Steppenwolf is ordering Desaad around. And it's like, wait, they had Desaad in the movie? And it was just like, okay. So that plus the rumor of a fight scene that was cut between Batman and Joker.
Look at Keith with all these little names.
Keith knows everything.
Just dropping. No, not everything. Let's not do that one. No, I don't know everything.
Okay, how about this? Keith knows so much more than I know that it makes me feel like Keith knows everything, and then it makes me feel like I don't know anything. And I know a lot.
No,
you do know a lot.
Yeah, you guys know all kinds of stuff. Don't be intimidated by me. Look. I've been lucky enough to be around people who know a lot more than me, and I get to hear things. And I learn things, too. I'm just like you.
Keith hears things and he learns things. I just guess at things. Like, half the time I'll see something and I'll be like, you know what? This is what I would do in this situation. And I'm either really right or I'm really wrong.
I'm the same way. It's just that I happen to listen to a lot of people who seem to know a few things.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's it. That is not a superpower. That's just me being,
But you retain a lot of information, Keith. You hear things and you know things, so
it strikes a chord within me.
So it basically you drink and you know things, right? That's Keith.
Do you drink?
I can neither confirm nor deny. Let's just say I have taken liquid and I have imbibed liquid, and I happen to share knowledge.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. Well, we've got some more comments. Let's throw these up here real quick. This one seems fitting. Mason's showing, talking about the casting of Suicide Squad. Now, I think he was focusing on the original movie. And I don't think he actually knew, because right after that he posted this. What trailer is this? And he got a little excited about it. So, which I understand, because that's an exciting trailer. And then, of course, he says, never mind.
It happens.
Yeah. Well, and then he clarifies he missed Fandom, which I understand. I didn't get to catch Fandom either. I did catch all the stuff online afterwards that talked about it. And Keith, did you watch that live, by the way? Did you watch the Fandom live?
I tried. I was out of town. So,
yeah.
But I caught as much as I could. And I again, for me, there was a moment when I saw the Justice League trailer where I remember I came out of it in my head, and it was like I thought, in my head I'm just screaming and joyous, and then I caught myself because I wasn't breathing. And
yeah. Gotta breathe.
Dying over news like that would be bad. Oh my goodness.
Well, what a way to go, right?
How did Keith die? He saw the Justice League. Justice League killed Keith.
Geeked out one too many times.
That's how we're all gonna die. Actually, I have my death plan, so it's all good.
Well, see, there you go.
Asphyxiation.
So Keith, you were telling us before we started about one of the comic announcements that happened at Fandom, because I didn't hear about this until you shared. Please enlighten those that are watching and let us know what comic news came out of Fandom here.
It is the return of the groundbreaking Milestone imprint. So Hardware, Blood Syndicate, Static Shock, and my man, Icon. And I couldn't believe it. I'm loving it. I'm ready for it. Where can I get the first issue? I'm still going crazy here. I can't believe it. And
so have they been taken out of the DC universe and put in their own universe then?
Yeah, but then when they did the New 52, what they did was they merged it into the DC universe.
I knew they did.
So now it's as far as I know, it's still going to be its own imprint, its own title, own characters. You're going to see the revival of the Milestone universe, and I'm thinking not only they're going to bring back some characters, they're going to have some new characters to bring in with this. And
Icon.
William, Icon for the win, buddy. Yeah. It is. Milestone is very important because it literally was the opportunity for character creators of color to create characters themselves that they wanted to see. And it wasn't so much, I don't mean this in a bad way, but it wasn't really people that weren't black creating black characters, which is what both Marvel and DC have been doing. It was actual black creators creating characters of color in a city that was kind of like an alternate universe version of Detroit.
Right.
And I loved all of it. And I can't get enough of all those stories. And again, Icon. To me, there should be an Icon movie on the way. But first, they're working on a Static Shock live action movie. Right. That was the big word.
Which is amazing.
And yes. But if they can do all of that, if they can get an Icon movie, and let me just again shout out to the cast and most definitely the crew and the writers of Young Justice. They have done a phenomenal job in bringing the DC characters to life. And the fact that they allowed Icon and Rocket to be a part of that show, oh my goodness, that did my heart good. Nothing against Justice League or Justice League United, but I didn't see Icon there.
Right. Well, and my first introduction to Milestone was really the Static Shock cartoon.
Yeah.
That was the first time I'd actually got exposed, and then that caused me to go research that whole universe. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. So that's really awesome. I'm glad they're bringing Static Shock. We talking a little bit earlier. Static is pretty much that version of Peter Parker. That universe is Peter Parker.
Yes. It is basically doing for Milestone the kinds of stories that you were telling back in the 60s, you know, when Spider-Man was brand new, and people were buying his books and they didn't know what was going to happen next. It's the same kind of formula that Joss Whedon used to create Buffy.
Right.
Buffy really is just a female Peter Parker, but with a different skill set. That's all. And it's natural. It's good. It's fun. It's about darn time.
Yes.
I'm geeking out just for Milestone, and I want my Milestone T-shirt. I want my Milestone cap. I want my Milestone. I need it. I need it badly, and you better get to work on Icon.
I love it. That's awesome.
Presser and I hadn't heard that part, and then
No.
we were talking about it. That's why we were a little late on airing the live today, because we were talking about it and we were all geeking out over it.
I blew their minds.
Yeah,
Did.
he did. He blew. You do that all the time. But it's you do. It's a thing. No, it's really cool. I love that there's comic news. I know we talked about movie news. We have a video game trailer that was released as well.
Couple of them.
Comic news, yeah. Let's talk about another movie, though, that the trailer was released, and that would be Matt Reeves' The Batman. No, I'm not doing her yet. She's my...
Okay, we'll save her for last.
She's my favorite. We're going to save her for last. But I really liked the Batman trailer, like the darkness of it. It made me think of Court of Owls. It made me think of a little
Long
bit
Halloween.
of Long Halloween. It has those like points of it. It did show like the little card had the owl on it. Yeah, he's gonna show the video. The card that he has the owl, which made me go to Court of Owls. It made Shrew go to Court of Owls. I'm a little unsure of the Riddler being like, you don't see him. Like he's the one duct taping him at the beginning. That's the Riddler. And I love that they're doing a Riddler. I love that I'm hoping it's more comic book accurate. I think that this could potentially be dark. I love that Batman doesn't say, I'm Batman. I love that when he is asked. No, seriously.
He almost said it. And what he says is,
vengeance.
See the trailer.
Yep.
See the trailer.
All right, let's run the trailer. But yeah, I had questions on what Shrew would think about Riddler on this, because I watched it and that was my first thought. I was like, what's he thinking about this?
I'll let you know a little bit of what he said because we watched it together. So
all right, let's roll this.
It's Riddler by way of Seven.
Yes, and no, that is exactly what Shrew said. He was like, Riddler and Seven had a baby. It's like that. No, that is Keith. Seriously, he said that exact thing. So this right here, awesome. That's the Riddler. And you hear duct tape, which I think is really cool. It brings it back from more of a superhero thing to more a detective thing.
Right.
And like it's duct tape. It's not just like, some kind of whatever they're using. The police department. like the policemen and stuff. Like all of this just
Who is this detective right here, by the way?
Yeah, all of this brings me, and there's the owl, and everything. I've read somewhere that somebody's already decoded that little message inside there.
Mm-hmm.
But all of that is just, it's dark and it's Batman like we haven't seen Batman in a movie, I think. I know people hated the casting because they were like, I don't want a sparkly vampire to play Batman, you know, but I actually, when I watched this, he gave me chills because he brings something in his eyes that I think Batman should bring. We have this part where Batman's fighting the police. He's getting shot at by the police at one point. Catwoman, you have the Riddler there. This is like a scene, it's kind of the Joker. And this is the scene where they're like, who are you? And he doesn't say the Batman, which iconically he would have. Beautiful scene. Love the Batmobile.
I have to officially say that on behalf of my partner, Gary loves this Batmobile because it's the first time he's actually got a car, not a bullet, not a tank.
Yes.
It's a car.
It's a car. I love the suit. I love this scene right here just because that emotional connection that I think Robert brought, those eyes right there. It's funny because when I saw that, I was like, I could see that intensity as like a Nightwing character as well, which I loved that they're bringing that into Batman, but it's very much, it looks very much like a dark, angry Batman who's a detective, who is trying to solve a case and not just fighting along other superheroes. Like it's a grittier, and I liked it. Spoo did say that the Joker, that the Riddler, it was like he met Seven and he was like intrigued by that. He's not sure how he feels yet.
I can see that.
Riddler is so close to his heart, but he did say that he was intrigued by it. We were both very happy with the trailer.
What did he think of Penguin?
So Penguin, he didn't really touch base a lot because he was just like, that was Penguin. That was his first thought, was like, wait, that was Penguin? And he rewound it and he watched it again. That was like, I don't think he's unhappy with it. I just think it's not where your mind goes with the Penguin.
Right.
But for iconically, like when you think of Batman and the Penguin, you think of those iconic, like chunky, short, like awkward guys. And this one's not quite there. I love that they hint about all kinds of villains in this movie. They hint about all kinds of storylines that have never been told in this movie. You have the Joker reference with the gang painted on their faces. You have the Riddler. But he's not the funny Jim Carrey playing somebody who thinks he's the Riddler character. You have this.
As I heard someone say just today, I think the best way to describe this movie is, as far as the Riddler goes, it's basically Batman Forever done in the style of Seven.
Yeah. Which is an intelligence thing. And I know that Spoo, the thing he hates about the way the Riddler has always been portrayed on TV and movies is that the Riddler, Edward, he is on the level intelligence-wise as Batman. He's figured out who Batman is. He's the only one who's broken out of the Max. He is a super genius, and they always have him be played by Goofy, and he's not like that in the comics much. This one I think goes a little darker than a lot of the comics, but I don't think it misses the point of the Riddler at all. I love the fact that I think he is the big bad guy. Like, I think he is the nemesis. Like, that's what it's going toward, is this showdown between two super geniuses, Bruce Wayne and Edward. I love this. I'm super excited about this. But
I have my mystery box here. Let's see if there's something inside. You know. Again, I at least got to give Matt Reeves a hard time about that because, again, it's what JJ's known for, and it's hit or miss with him and his mystery boxes.
Yeah.
I hope Matt Reeves has a real end game in mind rather than just trying to like continue to hook people, string them along. You know, I mean, who would ever like let people spend 7 years of their lives watching something only to not pay it off in any way, shape, or form? I mean, who would ever do that?
Now, a lot of series suffer from that. They hit a certain point and don't know how to end it. Some of our favorite series, Battlestar Galactica, many others.
I wasn't really referencing those guys. I mean, Battlestar Galactica may not have been the ending that I thought, but it was an ending. What I'm thinking is more along the lines
Lost was an ending too.
Lost was an ending. Lost was an ending.
I stopped watching Lost after season 2. I was done. I already figured out it was going to end, and it was boring to me after that point. I'm not even lying. Like
I love Lost. So
you know what? A lot of shows can end. Not very many shows can stick the landing.
Right.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's true.
Yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuck the landing.
Yeah.
So,
what did you guys think of it? Because I just rambled on through that whole trailer.
Love it. No, you said it all. I don't need to say anything. You said it all.
So, you know, I've got some questions about the villains, about Riddler, about Penguin. Now, Catwoman, I'm like, okay, she looks really great as Catwoman. I like that. A lot better than the Dark Knight Catwoman. I didn't really care for how she was done, but this Catwoman looks really cool. I'm just not sure now. Batman, I'm all in, and I've told people don't judge the actor on what he's done in the past by how he's going to be as Batman, because I made that mistake with Michael Keaton, and Michael Keaton's still my favorite live action Batman. So
I love Keaton. I'm gonna say this: if this one is as good as I think it might be, Robert might be my new favorite.
Wait until you actually see the movie first.
But no, the look of him is more along the lines of what I think it should be. The problem I've had with Batman is some of them play Batman really well, and some of them play Bruce Wayne really, really well, and it's really hard to get the two together.
Right.
So
I have a favorite Batman.
Who's your favorite Batman?
Oh, Ben.
I know. I knew that.
Ben. Because look, Batman the Animated Series is to me the best version of Batman.
Right.
Ben Affleck is the best live action version of that character we've got. He's got the smirk, he's got the look, he's got the brooding down. Not many people can brood the right way, and Bruce, Bruce is a specific type of brooder. He can't just be like emo brooding, like I'm dark.
No,
that's what Superman did.
The wheels have to turn. It's got to be the wheels turning.
And that's what I was saying with that one clip from Robert was the wheels were turning. That emotion that he gives was so like. It's a Bruce Wayne emotion, not a Batman emotion right then. And I found it very intriguing because I could watch him transform, even in the trailer, from Bruce Wayne to Batman in just like a moment. And I really like that. I'm hopeful. Let's say this, I'm hopeful. Like when
I'm not one of those people. I'm not one of those people. I'm one of those people that believes that Bruce Wayne doesn't exist. Bruce Wayne is a disguise.
Yeah,
Bruce Wayne, Batman is 24/7. Batman is all he is, and that Bruce Wayne is just an act.
He's the mask.
He's the mask.
Yeah.
And that really, when he's doing his thing, whether he has the costume on or not, there almost has to be a transformation in the sense of how he approaches things
Yeah.
and how he sees things.
Because
And
he's putting the mask on when he's taking the mask off. That's that moment of he's got to be like, I am now Bruce Wayne. I am now a regular human billionaire, but I'm still, and it's that moment of like kind of sadness because he's having to hide who he is. And everything. When he's in the mask, yes, he's hiding his identity, but he's actually more true to himself than any time he's without the mask.
And you want to hear something really kind of upside down and backwards?
Sure.
For me, watching the Batman trailer and listening to you say this earlier, I do like Robert Pattinson. I never had anything against the dude, and I've been eagerly awaiting this film.
Mm-hmm.
But having seen it now and look at his moves, I see Robert Pattinson really as a better Nightwing than Batman. He fights like Nightwing. He's got the same physical build as Nightwing. He's got Nightwing's hair. I mean, it's just... I see Ben Affleck more as what Batman would be at that age, and Pattinson is more of what Nightwing would be.
Right.
He just needs to get a little more happy when he isn't in the costume. But other than that, but again, I like what I'm seeing. I have nothing against anything that I've seen up to this point. And I'm just eagerly awaiting this movie to come out.
Well, and I think the storyline that this movie seems to be going, especially if they're hinting at, like Court of Owls and all of those and everything, it makes more sense that he's darker and that he's more broody and that he's not happy, because those are not happy stories. Like, those comics are dark. And so it might be because we're not hearing the whole story of what this is, that's the case. But no, when I saw I saw him in costume the first time, like before the trailer, like when the pictures came out, I was like, he's built like Nightwing. Like he's built like what I want my Nightwing to be built like. Even the jawline, like, is a Nightwing jawline. But I'm not unhappy with it, and I think that if it plays off the way I'm hoping it will, I think he's gonna turn people around like Keaton turned people around when he was cast.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. No, I think it looks really good. I'm real excited about it. I think it could be pretty awesome. I'm hopeful. I'm very, very hopeful with it. I will say, for me, Affleck was more Batman beyond Batman than I thought he was actually Batman. Kind of old man Batman.
Older.
Yeah. Now, and that's probably what Keaton will be in the Flash movie, is actually a lot more like that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, because look, after the warehouse fight, come on. That to me is still the best beatdown in any Batman movie, period.
Well, it reminded me of The Dark Knight Returns. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
That's really that's the level of Batman where he's old and retired and coming back, and then he's just wailing on people. So, but I don't know.
Well, Batman wails on everybody. I mean, he's an equal opportunity buster. So.
I'm hopeful that this movie will have more of the detective amount. I think that's something that's missed from a lot of Batman movies, is the detective, the great detective. Bring that in, and I will be so in love with that, because that's the aspect of Batman that I really truly enjoy, is when he is trying to figure something out that nobody can.
Right.
And so
give you these little nuggets in all the Batman movies where he's like sitting in front of his computers and he's figuring something out, like the perfume and the makeup and stuff, like from
right.
But they don't give you full on, I've got to figure this out without technology. And Batman do that. That's the whole people seem to forget that Batman was written before all the technology we have. So even his technology from when he was first written was like, we would laugh at it now. It was all, yeah, it's all his brain. He's a super genius detective who happens to be rich and can afford really cool toys to fight bad guys with.
Where does he get those wonderful toys?
We all know now.
So who was the African-American detective in that?
That's Gordon.
That's Gordon.
Is that Gordon? Because
Yeah, that's Jim Gordon.
so that's my question. Is this movie supposed to be in continuity? Because
No,
then he
no. It's got its own. It's got its own continuity. No,
Okay.
that's the
that
reason
was
why.
where I
Look,
was confused.
Yeah, no, it's not.
This is part of the whole conflict right now with J.J. Abrams. Abrams was under the assumption that he'd be the new guy heading up all things DC, and then he got hit by the Brahma Bull, who just said, "No."
Sure.
It's like, nope, that's not happening.
Well, see, that was my confusion because I thought, okay, well, that can't be Gordon because we've seen what Gordon looks like. Current day Gordon looks like from Justice League. And so I'm like, okay, so who is that if that's not Gordon? Because I'm thinking in my head all the characters.
And just to let you know, if you go back into the footage of the Batman, this is also set current day. Yes. Because one of the Joker members has a cell phone. He's got a cell phone, and he's taking footage of. Yeah, he's got an iPhone. He's taking video footage of Batman waylaying one of his guys.
Yeah,
so.
It's the when he doesn't say I'm Batman scene.
Right.
The guy behind has the phone up, and they're like recording it, and it's an iPhone. I think it's an iPhone 11, which is the new one. So it's set modern.
Right, very modern. Right.
And so yeah, it's not the thing. Like I know a lot of people when this was being discussed, they were like, "Is this going to be in the same thread as the Joaquin Phoenix Joker?" But that one was set in the past.
Right.
Yes.
This one is not. It doesn't mean it's not within the same realm, but it's possible that Joker has inspired the Joker, because they never go out and say that he is, like in that movie.
Yeah.
And everything. So it's possible that he has inspired that gang who has this,
right.
stuff. And that would also play into that darker realm, that darker universe of the Batman on this one. But it's not, I don't think it's been confirmed or anything like that or any of that, but that's what a lot of people have been saying. But no, it's a totally different.
So it's an Elseworlds.
Yes.
And that's cool.
It's its own thing. It's its own thing, which I like. But yeah, it'll be interesting.
For whatever reason, I was assuming it was doing like a Batman Year One.
No, and that's the thing. This is actually year two. According to Matt Reeves, this is Batman's second year in existence. Now, there was someone who I follow online who had made a really good point. His only thing that he didn't like is that this being year two, he didn't like the fact that the scene with Gordon, with Batman walking behind him into a crime scene would be the way that things would handle that early. The cops still hate him.
Right.
Yeah.
And at that time, he was only appearing just to Gordon. And he made the reference that in the movie The Dark Knight, that's how they did the thing with the bank scene, where Gordon walks into the bank vault, and he has everybody else go away, and he's in the bank vault. Next thing you know, there's Batman, almost like a ghost, you know. And I think that's the proper way to handle their relationship, at least in the early days, because Gordon, I think, even in this movie, is not commissioner. He's just a detective.
I think Matt Reeves has said that he is just a detective, but he's like head detective, or he's like higher up. You can see that when in the trailer when he's walking through, and all the other detectives are like giving him that respect. They're giving
him the respect, but if you notice, they're also looking behind him where the camera is, and they have disdain on their faces because they're looking at Batman.
Batman.
They respect him. They hate him.
Right.
So,
The only thing I could think of on that, like, because I've talked to somebody else who pointed that out too. Like, I don't think Batman would just show up. Is the only reason that I think it might play into it is because the card is addressed to the Batman.
Right.
That's the only thing that could bring Batman to the thing, because now they have to question him because he's part of this investigation.
Right.
And that will bring him into the investigation. That's when he shows his detective skills and stuff like that. That's what I'm hoping. But I do agree. I do agree that William showed himself.
Yeah, and also I hear that the victims of the crimes have all been wealthy people.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's the part that really brings in the Court of Owls to me. I think Edward is tracking down the Court of Owls members, is what he's doing. And that,
about that. So,
yeah, but also he found out that there is a connection between the Wayne family and the Court of Owls, and so obviously,
and
that brings in
right.
Yeah,
and he's the only villain who has figured out, like, first, like, he was the first villain to figure out that Batman and Bruce Wayne were the same people, but it would ruin the riddle. You can't tell you can't tell the riddle.
Can't tell the punchline.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing about Batman v Superman. If you understand that Lex was smart enough to figure out who Superman and Batman were, then he knows everything from the jump, and that changes how everything goes. He's just playing everybody.
Yeah. Yep.
So let's, because we're at an hour and a half now, guys. So let's let's do another comment here from William, and then we will jump to the Wonder Woman trailer and talk about it real quick. This is for you, Keith.
Yeah. Conservative icon character.
Yeah. That was great about that character. And again, having a character be very different than what you would assume that they would be. Having Icon in his normal life be a black businessman who's actually a political conservative.
Right.
And it matches, how important it was for when Hal Jordan revealed that he was a conservative in the comics, when he and Green Arrow were teamed up. And I like that. I like that a lot because it's not what you would expect. And to me, when you get to that point, that's where you're on the right track. Let's just do something different.
Well, I think the idea that you can show that they can work together, that you can have your different beliefs and still we can work together. That's a needed message nowadays. As split as we are.
That was a needed message all the time. Like, that's always.
It's the Justice League's message.
Right.
Every single member of the Justice League is someone who started out working on their own.
Right.
And had to be convinced that they needed to work together in order to solve the really big problems.
Like a giant starfish attacking.
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
Well, I'm just going back to the history of the Justice League, which I love. So I love the Silver Age Justice League. So I don't know.
It could be that, or it could be an android able to basically mimic all their powers.
Exactly. Yeah. Amazo, yeah. Now there's a character I'd like to see. Bring Amazo in.
You know what, though? I'm telling you right now that could be a very dark character because you're talking Terminator with the ability to mimic the powers of the Justice League.
That would be pretty awesome.
That twist. I mean, now you're turning any Justice League movie into a weird, backwards, upside-down version of John Wick, starring Amazo, starring an android who is willing to kill because he can take and mimic everything that they do.
Yeah, that would be Yeah.
That would be pretty wild. So now Keith. I think we've got a winner here. So, all right. So let's hop on over and watch the trailer here for Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. I was super excited by them showing more of her childhood. And
Me too.
You know, and not just going into the story.
I've been there, and I've been. Oh, okay.
You've been there?
All the places where they filmed in DC, I've been there.
Oh, very cool. Like I was super like, it's Wonder Woman. I love her. I love Gal as Wonder Woman. The Trevor, I don't know how I feel about that one. Like I'm still.
I hope they have a good explanation.
There's an explanation, and I'm not going to give it to you, but there's an explanation.
No, there's an explanation. Like it's, but Cheetah. I was surprised. I actually liked the look of Cheetah, which it could have gone so wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could have gone so wrong. Spoo just got home and he's like, insert Cats reference here. Like Cheetah could have gone so wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I love the lasso. I love that they, go into that. Like she uses more of her powers and stuff. But we're watching.
I just love this movie. I just love this. I love the look of this film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the weird little Easter eggs they have throughout it. Like the clothes that she was wearing in that last scene with Steve match exactly the clothes that Linda Carter wore in the Wonder Woman television series.
Yep.
Right.
With the yeah. Oh, and then
Cool.
It's the humor of like the parachute pants. I loved that. That is hilarious. No, I'm like super stoked about it. Like, you guys know that I cried with the first Wonder Woman just because I wanted that movie for so long.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And when she walked through the field, that was my empowerment moment. Wanted for so long. This one, I'm like, I have theories on like the whole Steve being back thing. Just because I've read the comics and I know the powers that people have and stuff like that. I'm like, on that part, like it's weird because I know a lot of people are like, they have such good chemistry. I just don't always feel their chemistry. Even in the first movie, I didn't feel their chemistry as much. But I liked the look of Cheetah. It could have gone so bad. So bad. And I was worried about that when I heard that that's who was going to be the villain. I love the gold suit, the armor. I love that they talk about her childhood. You see some of those things. And because we just got thrown into her leaving home and, you get bits of her backstory in the first one. You do. But at the same time, what makes her who she is a lot of that, her growing up, and they didn't touch point on those as much. Like, you don't understand the reason that she's so about injustice and she's so about protecting the people who can't be protected or, who can't protect themselves. And all of that is from Diana's childhood. And I'm hoping they touch base on that. So I'm super excited about it. I love Gal as Wonder Woman. There are other people who could have played her. I'm not lying. But she brings such this charm to the role.
She does.
That
honesty. She brings an honesty to it.
Yes.
Because you got to be able to walk that line. You have to be someone, at least in that first movie, who you can buy, not being knowledgeable, but without being streetwise without
Right,
any
right.
real world experience.
Like she's
And
naive,
yes,
but she's still Wonder Woman, and
yes,
Gal brings that naivety that. I know that there are other people that people have thrown out to play that role who are more physically what they think that she should be.
yeah,
But
yeah.
when Gal Gadot smiles as Wonder Woman, as Diana Prince, and it's this like she's figuring things out in her head, that is so charming. And I see it even in the trailer, you still see that she's still learning some things. And, you know, we're talking, what is the time frame between the, like 40 years?
Not 1918 to current to 84. So,
1984. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're looking at,
So-
like, you know,
so
and she's still figuring us out. She's still
60,
figuring.
70 years.
Yeah, 70 years.
Yeah, I did like that in the first movie, he's teaching her about things. And then in this one, she's teaching him about things. I think that juxtaposition is very interesting. And I feel like it's her growing into her own, like, you know, I don't need a man to show me how to do things.
Right.
But I can show you how to do things.
Right.
Kind of Wonder Woman type of personality. So I like that.
No, I'm with you completely. I was going to mention that the symmetry of he was teaching her things in 1918. She's now teaching him all that he needs to know about 1984.
Yeah. I think it's
the parachute pants.
That cracked me up so much. I was like, oh my God.
I may or may not have had parachute pants in 84.
Oh, Larry, you know you
Really?
had several pairs. You had 3. I know you had 3 pairs. I don't know how I know that, but I know you had 3 pairs.
So
Larry.
And one of them was multicolored.
I don't think so, but
You don't think one of them was multicolored? Like,
I don't think so.
The black with like the stripe down the side.
Well, my family was on the poorer side, so we probably didn't even have real parachute pants. It was probably, plastic something. I don't know. So anyway, so no, I'm real excited for that movie. And of course I love the 80s, so setting it in the 80s just makes it perfect. And I love Wonder Woman also. So I'm very excited. I love Cheetah. She's probably my favorite Wonder Woman villain. And I love the fact that they're playing that they are friends. Her and Barbara are friends. And I'm curious to see if they take it the comic book route of how she gets her powers, or if there's something else. I know this whole Maxwell Lord thing is going to play a fact into this because he's saying he can offer things to people. So that'll be interesting to see how that works.
I'm pretty sure that she's going to become Cheetah the same way that Steve comes back.
That's probably true.
That's my theory anyway.
Probably not a cat god then. There's probably no cat god involved in this. So even though I'd like to see that. So, of course, I did want to see
that. We already saw that in a We Shall Not Talk About It Catwoman movie.
Yes,
we've already seen that.
And let me see, Halle Berry is awesome, but
yes, she is.
Yeah.
But
all right, we'll move along.
Yeah. Now that he's here, I wanted to let you know that Keith, they were asking your opinion of the Batman and the Riddler in it, and Keith said something that you said, which was it's like the Riddler met Seven.
Well, I've been saying for years that if you want to make a good Riddler movie, that it would basically need to be a Saw movie with Batman in it. I'm not sure how I feel about The Mask, and I hope that doesn't stick around long. But beyond that, I think it looks even better than I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
I don't know if that Keith was saying goodbye there, or I'm not sure. So. Well, let us know, Keith, in the comments if you had to leave. Oh, no, here's Mr. Keith. He is back.
Yeah. And it just overloaded everything.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, she has that. I bring him on and everybody just leaves. That's
like, don't get a complex.
Come back, Shane. Come back.
Or the quote, the quote Motley Crue, don't go away, Mad, just go away.
Don't go away, Mad, just go away. No, I'm like, I was very happy with like all the trailers that dropped. We didn't even get to touch base. I know we're running over, but we didn't really get to touch base on the video games. Those look super cool. Larry are you gonna put it up on GeekyKOOL?
Yeah, I will.
He's gonna put a parental disclaimer on it though.
Well, and I did post the Gotham Knight one.
Yeah.
Arkham Knight. Oh, Gotham Knight.
I'm getting
sorry.
feedback from somebody somewhere. Oh.
Are you getting feedback from me?
I'm not hearing it now. Okay. All right. I think maybe that fixed it. Okay. So anyway, but no, I posted the Gotham Knight one. The Gotham Knight one looks really cool. The concept of Batman, if Batman dies, what happens to the Bat family?
Is it weird though that Gotham Knights is not a continuation of Arkham Knight? Not to spoil the ending of Arkham Knight there, but but that the Suicide Squad is a continuation of Arkham. I don't understand that.
Well, all I know is
I'm
Batgirl looks really good in it. I can tell you that.
Yes.
Gotham Knights, the Batgirl looks great. I'm very happy with that.
Looks good. I loved I saw them.
I love the thing they gave to Captain Boomerang, where he like throws his boomerang wherever he's wanting to go, and then like almost
it takes him. Yeah,
that's cool. It's like almost like a teleportation through Speed Force thing.
Yeah, we watched that. We watched the Gotham Knights one. I really liked. I liked the look of it. I'm
just happy to finally see Tim in a game.
He's like, that better be Tim. Like he was like a thing. I love the Robins, like all the Robins. I'm not a huge Batman fan, but I'm a huge Robin fan, and like Nightwing and all of them, and Batgirl, and I'm just like super stoked. I told Shpoo, I was like, we might have to buy a system to play these games on, because I don't own a gaming system. I know that sounds weird. I'm just poor.
No, that doesn't sound weird. I understand. I have one now, but you know that benefit of having young kids is you have excuses to buy things.
Well, it's like buy kids and grandkids stuff or buy myself a gaming system, and I'm just like, I'm that person who buys the things.
I can see that. I can see that.
But I am one of the things I'm learning in my life is that I need to be a little bit more selfish, and that sounds weird, but it's an odd thing.
You got to take care of yourself.
So I'm thinking I will probably be buying a system just to play. Well, he'll want to play these games, and I will want to play these games, and
you'll kick his butt at him.
I haven't played a video game other than Zelda in like so long. It's not
understand.
Funny.
Okay. I got a game for you then.
Okay.
It's called God of War. Just put that in,
great game.
Play it. You will have a great time.
Cool.
That is a good one. I agree with Keith. If you end up with a PlayStation, and I'm not saying that's where you need to go, but I know PlayStation, because I've got a PlayStation, I bought a pass to be able to get games for free. And so a lot of those games that are a couple of years old will be on there for free that you can play. So like God of War is on there. There's a lot of Arkham games on there. What's Keith looking at?
You said free. You said free games, and he went.
Well, you got to pay the money to get the whatever it is, the PlayStation.
PlayStation Plus.
PlayStation Plus, yeah. You got to pay for that.
I wonder who else has got that.
So my son plays a lot on that.
So probably be getting a PlayStation just because my best friends, like the guys here, and then my best friend Trent has one, and he's always like, when you get a game, we can play games together.
There you go. He's not wrong. And if you get you could probably get a discount on a PlayStation 4 at this point, just because 5 is going to come out. But then the question is,
hard to find.
Yeah.
The fours are hard to find. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna wait a little bit, but it's one of the things. But these games are definitely on my list to be played. I mean, the Suicide Squad looks amazing.
It does. It looks like a lot of fun. Yeah.
What I love about them is they look like they're movies.
Right.
Like they look like they have character development in them in some way. It's a weird thing, but they look like they're movies. And
Right.
I love the idea of playing a video game that looks like it's a movie. So, or I'm also the girl who like watches people play video games, and I enjoy that. Like my friend Trent would invite me to his house, and he'd be like, "I'm gonna play Red Dead," and I was like, "I'm there." I would sit for hours and watch him play video games. Just hang out, watch him play video games. So, if
Then I am glad I suggested God of War to you.
Really? I will have to check that out.
Oh, and Uncharted. All the Uncharted games.
Uncharted, yeah.
Okay. I will like when I get my system, which hopefully it'll be in a month or so if I can swing it. I'll message you guys and say which games should I get, and you guys can suggest everything. He's like, yes.
Well, like I said, if you get one of those passes, you can do some of those games for free, and it's worth it to do the pass because then you're like, rather than paying $50 for a new game, if you're waiting for a couple of years and you're getting to play a whole bunch. So, anyway, it neither here nor there. Some more things that they talked about at DC Fandome, just real quick, that we're going to hit. The Flash TV series season 7 trailer dropped, basically picking up where they were because they had to end it early, and all sorts of craziness going on with that. Iris is in the mirror universe. Flash is losing his powers. Blah blah blah. But it looks like a lot of fun. I'm not fully caught up yet with it because I'm usually waiting for it to come on to Netflix. But yeah, so.
That was a judgmental look.
I know. Well, the other thing was my son and I stopped watching Flash so we could watch all the Crisis together. So we're trying to get caught up in all the series to the point of Crisis, then watch the Crisis together, and then go back and watch all the Flash.
I used to watch the Flash with Dakota, so I haven't I miss watching it with somebody, and so I watch it, but it's not as much fun if I can't talk about it with somebody. So I'm that type of person. I don't want to talk during the show, but I want to talk after the show.
Right. Oh, I'm with you.
There you go. You have somebody to talk to right up there. There he is. I'm not that guy anymore. I've already said it on our show. I have lost faith in Greg Berlanti. I can't do that stuff anymore because I genuinely believe that he is not as big of a comic book fan as he states. The writing is too inconsistent.
It is.
With a lot of his shows. I loathe Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I actually enjoy it. I'll be honest with you. I enjoy it because it's just mindless.
Yeah.
I on that one. I haven't gotten into it tomorrow.
Yeah, I hate the way that they're doing Batwoman.
Yeah.
I just think that if anybody writing for that show would actually pick up a Batwoman comic book, they would know how to write that show and turn it from being the worst show into probably the best show that on TV. Right now, it literally is the worst show. The ratings are not that good for that show. And it's just not very well done for what they have.
Right.
And I'm disappointed in that.
Right.
Yeah.
Then again,
I'm with you. Well, I noticed that none of the other CW shows had trailers. The Flash did. You didn't have anything from any of the other ones. So I thought that was interesting.
That's because a lot of that stuff is going to be held over for the next event next month.
Right.
And
Part 2.
They'll get into Titans. They're going to get into, hopefully, Doom Patrol Season 3. F my life. Look, that show, Doom Patrol, it isn't exactly kid-friendly.
No, I found that out in the first 5 minutes.
Yes. And
no, we're not watching this together.
Cliff's, my line that I love from Cliff Steele are lines that cannot easily be repeated in mixed company.
Yeah.
But they are so funny, and I love how by halfway through the season, he's got everybody else talking just like him. It's just, I am a traditional Doom Patrol fan. So my favorite characters are the original Doom Patrol,
Right.
which is Larry, Rita, Cliff, and the Chief.
Yep.
Everybody else, you know, Mento was a guy later on, but a majority of the rest of the characters are all part of the newer version of Doom Patrol that was introduced in the comics 10 years ago.
Right.
And they kind of based, like, Jane's new. And they built a lot of the show around her. And my thing is, like, you've got the original characters.
Right.
Built everything around the way that they are in the comics. And that's my only thing about the show. It's not that I hate Jane. It's just that that's like making a Star Trek television show and basing everything around Kevin Riley.
Right.
You know?
Well, it's kind of what they did with X-Men, basing everything around Wolverine.
Wolverine, yes.
Because Wolverine was, a second
new
generation.
compared to everybody else.
Yeah. So, I don't know. So,
we will talk about X-Men.
So you mentioned Titans. They did mention that Titans season 3 will have the characters basically staying in Gotham, which is a interesting way to go. I have not seen the Titans show. Is it the only one that's still on DC Universe exclusively? Because I know Doom Patrol's on HBO.
Somebody's already turned on all the lights on that one. No, Titans is coming to HBO Max.
Okay, great. That way I can actually watch it.
Yeah.
Not only set in Gotham, we'll introduce Scarecrow, Barbara Gordon, the former Batgirl, and now police commissioner, according to what I read.
Yeah, and I'm disappointed by that. They should have gone with Betty.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen Betty.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to have seen Harlequin instead, because they're two characters that were actually part of Teen Titans. Because you've got Hawk and Dove already.
Right.
All they need is, they have Hawk and Dove, they have Changeling. All they needed was Harlequin and Batgirl. Not Batgirl Barbara, Batgirl Betty.
Right.
Because Betty is the real Batgirl. Barbara Gordon is the second Batgirl.
Right.
So if they did that and actually invited in Lilith, who I think is an awesome
There
character.
you go. That was what I was going to mention, was Lilith. Good job, Keith.
And then had it, but see, notice, who are the two characters that they are really missing that they should have?
Tell us.
The only couple that have been a couple almost as long as, say, Clark and Lois. And they are a really cool definition of what a real couple in comics are. And that's Bumblebee and Mal.
Okay. Yep. There you go. I was going to say, I thought
should have been
you're going with Bumblebee. No, I agree. Well, and a lot of that, I know they were trying to go with the new Teen Titans feel from the 80s.
Well, that's how they initially started out. But then the moment you had Aqualad and everybody else, it's like, look, they should have just tried to do this as if Teen Titans was a group that had been going.
We lost your sound there, Keith. No, he's gone.
He's gone.
So, all right. No, I'm with him, because I love the Titans, especially the older Titans and then the new Teen Titans. So I don't know. I've had. Oh, here's Mr. Keith back. All right, we lost.
I said something wrong again.
And he's gone again. So let's move on from Teen Titans for now, and we'll come back to that. Okay, he's back. So, all right. We're not kicking you. We really aren't.
We're not doing anything to him.
So,
Mr. Keith, he's having technical difficulties.
He's having technical difficulties. All right. So, but no, I'm with you, Keith. But, I've not seen any of it yet, so I don't know what it's really like. I'm excited to see it. I'm glad it's coming to HBO, because I've got that. I did finish the Harley Quinn cartoon, which I found hysterical, but it's crazy.
Yeah, it's not for kids.
Not for
I
kids.
just got HBO Max, and so it's on the computer, and so my next day off is we're gonna watch it. So
There you go.
I'm gonna get a tattoo. So
AJ, this one's for you.
okay.
Kite Man. You'll know what that means. Kite Man.
That's not a no.
Oh my goodness gracious! It's cracked me up.
Also, the who's the little guy, the one that has the mouth?
Oh, Professor.
Yeah, Professor Psycho.
Professor Psycho.
Dr. Psycho.
Yeah.
And when he says to Wonder Woman, "Oh my God," that was funny. It's like, "Well, you're nothing but a," and everybody's like,
"Oh." He's kicked out of the Legion of Doom because of it. I think it's great. I mean,
I don't have a problem with women, but what about Wonder Woman? Wonder Woman's a.
You guys crack me up. I'm gonna have to I'm clueless.
And I love King Shark in there.
Oh, I can't take blood. I can't do blood. Oh.
And Clayface is amazing
I
in that.
love Clayface. It's like, yes, it'll be my greatest creation.
And the episode where they're in the college campus.
I'm like, okay. So my next day off, guys, is Friday, and I'm going to be watching some of these episodes from the Harley Quinn cartoon. I'm also getting a tattoo Friday. So
see, there you go.
I'm getting my third. I've got a want that I have that I want 13 bees on my body tattoos. I have my toga P. Here we go. There it is. I hate the backwardsness of the phone. But it's basically a Pokemon. But it's a toga instead of toga P, it's toga B. I have a B here. And then I'm getting Bumblebee, the Transformer, on my thigh on Friday.
Wow.
It's more than meets the eye.
And he went there. And scene.
What tattoos I'm gonna get?
My greatest role.
Drew says I should tell you guys about some of the other tattoos I'm gonna get. I have a person that I follow. She's an artist and she draws bumblebees, but they're like they're superhero bumblebees, and that's where I got the toga bee. She did a Loki. That's a bee.
Ooh,
and
yeah.
so it's gonna go right here. I'm getting I have a bee that I'm getting that's Dakota and Callie, Dakota's best friend, have bees on them for me to honor me, and so I'm gonna get the exact bee to honor them as well. And then I have, let's see, what other ones? The break bills from the Magician's Show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Their logo is a bee, so with the bee and the key, I'm gonna get that. So
that's awesome.
Eventually 13 bumblebees will be on my body. Oh, my ghost. You want me to? I'm getting 2 little bumblebees in ghost costumes, and they're going to go right here, and they're going to be my boobies.
Nice. Very nice.
That's the only reason you wanted me to tell you guys about my new ideas. They're super cute.
I'm having a reaction.
I just wanted her to talk about her boobies.
But Chapeau, everybody. Be here all week. Try the sirloin.
Try the sirloin.
As red as my hair.
It's pretty red. So yeah.
So yeah, those are some of my bumblebees that I'm getting. But no, they're really cute. They're little bumblebees, Keith, with like little sheets over the top of them and their little eyes. And they're my boobies. They're boos. They're scary.
I love it. Well, all right.
We're gonna
well, actually, I got a couple more things from DC Fandome, just real quick, that were mentioned. The name of the new Shazam movie will be Shazam 2: Fury of the Gods.
Yes.
Which is a really interesting way to go. Black Adam will be set. Will start off 5,000 years ago, and we'll actually tell that whole story of the character. And actually, it's going to be that character that comes back.
Yep.
And he's going to show up during, I think, the 40s with the Justice Society.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. The Justice Society, which I think is very cool.
I love the Justice Society. It's interesting that they will be kind of an offset with Black Adam. So that's kind of cool.
Look at that. That's
Well,
awesome.
that's because he's hooked into Hawkman. Because
Right,
Hawkman
exactly.
will be the one with the information on who he is
Right.
and how to stop him.
Right. Exactly right.
Talked about like Hawkman. I like the idea that they're going to go back in his history and all that stuff. So that's cool.
Well,
What
you know, my favorite thing about Hawkman is he really is in the Justice League. The proper way to portray him is he really is the just flat out baddest ass fighter they have. He's a fighter.
He is.
He is an interstellar cop, but he's a fighter, and
Right.
he likes to fight. I mean, he's like Conan. He's like Lieutenant Worf in Star Trek. He's
Right.
He's the one that wants everyone to come to him for a badass fight.
Right.
So
It is a good day to die. Well, it's interesting that his character also, it just continues to be reborn. Oh, yeah, Blackhawk, most definitely. I had no idea that was a movie. That's really cool.
That's awesome. Yay. Like,
So-
Keith just pulling things out. He's like, I'm going to show you.
Keith's like, I'm going to show you everything. Show you all my toys. That's really cool.
that's Kirk Allen as Blackhawk.
Kirk Allen is Blackhawk.
That's awesome. Well, guys, we have gone over 2 hours. This may be longer than our time with the
Nerd Informants.
with the Nerd Informants, right? Which went forever. So we can tell them that we also had another long one here. So, but thank you guys for watching.
There was a lot that came out, guys. There was a lot of stuff to talk about. Oh, that's awesome. There was a lot of stuff to talk about that came out of DC Fandome this week. Oh, there you go.
Early. Yep.
But all kinds of exciting stuff. So we all got excited. We geek out. So we talk a little bit more than we planned on. It's okay.
Yeah, it happens. It's a good thing. So let's talk about all of our friends out there that also have.
I was just going to say one last thing about Wonder Woman. For those of you that are really, really big fans of the character, Water Tower Music of Warner Brothers have decided to give you a little bit of a present.
Oh.
So they released one track from the soundtrack out there. You can find it right now. The title of the song is called Themyscira. Yes.
I'm going to have to look that up.
Yes. You can find it. You can find it on YouTube. Just play that track over and over again.
I feel like there's clues in that track. Keith is like, play it over and over again. That's awesome.
That is awesome. I had no idea, but that's awesome. So all right, we'll be checking that out. You definitely always blowing my mind, Keith. Well, let's talk about Keith over here and his buddy Gary and our buddy Gary, because they've got an awesome show that they do, Pop Culture Minefield, that you can find on YouTube, all sorts of stuff on Facebook. Make sure to check them out. And Gary usually does give a warning that if you're not 13, you should get out. So you probably do want to abide by that. It's not meant for kids, but there's always a ton of interesting information. And you guys are working with Mikey quite a bit. Mikey Sutton, who has a new website.
Yeah.
What name of his website?
It's Geekosity, and it's also a magazine that he's putting together. And it's just basically all his scoops and everything in one place. So if you like what we do as far as dropping scoops and new information on you, check out Geekosity. But also check out our channel because we have an Indiegogo. We are running an Indiegogo right now. So just check us out. We love having people. We love having you guys. We just love everybody. So just check us out.
Spread the love.
Well, and with your Indiegogo, you guys are doing that to get some new equipment to make your show even better. So that is
Yes.
some needed stuff. So please check them out. Check out Pop Culture Minefield. And if you can help them out, even if it's just a few dollars to help them get some new equipment, that would all be appreciated. So make sure you guys do that if you can. If that's successful, Keith, we may need to follow suit and do something also similar for our show. But no, I think that's awesome. So along with them, we've got our friends over the Nerd Informants. They're on YouTube and Facebook. Those guys are awesome. They've been on the show with us, and in fact, I'm sure we'll be starting to talk a lot about movies because movies are starting to come out.
Yep.
In fact,
here in Branson, they just did a review on Unhinged, which was the first movie that we showed here in Branson at the Branson IMAX, and they are reviewing it, and they did a review for it. I think it dropped Saturday. They put it on the thing. But no, they're going to be starting to do that. We are getting movies again, slowly but surely, and so that's what they're known for. The Nerd Informants, they do those reviews of those movies.
They do.
Go check them out. They also do a live thing that they're doing that I think they're on their 10th episode. Or
they are.
Yeah.
So go check them out. Also,
well, and we have 20, so we're twice as good as they are. Today's 20.
Hey, wait, don't make me old. Oh.
No.
I'm the same age as Josh. I'm just saying. I just don't look that good.
No, you look great. So
I'm way older than Timmy, but that's the thing.
Well, everybody's way older than Timmy.
I know, he's the baby of the group. I just want to and go check out this guy over at Scallywag Productions. He's going to be doing a thing, and a bunch of you. I think all of us
All
are
three of you
are going to be on his show in 2 weeks?
September 4th and 5th. That is a Friday, Saturday from noon to noon, a 24-hour live feed. All three of these guys and many, many more. I'll be doing a video here in just a few days, kind of going over the whole spiel, but basically just 24 hours, a full day of just straight nerd talk. So, yeah.
Which is awesome.
Me and my co-host. Now, I'm revealing it now. Me and my co-host.
If you're watching this and you want to take part in that, just shoot us a message here on GeekyKOOL or shoot it to me personally or over on Scallywag, wherever. Let me know because we've got a few spots open still. And
the middle of the night. And
overnight stuff especially.
And if people don't take these spots, I'm going to be woke up.
So for those of you that are night owls, they're already up.
But yeah, I mean, even if I've got somebody scheduled for those times, there's, as you can see, we're perfectly fine having several people on at once. So, yeah, check it out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got some cosplayers. We've got Keith and Gary, Larry. You're going to be on it. I'm going to be on it. We have
even somebody who was on HBO.
Oh yeah, we have a friend of ours, Chris, who was on HBO. What was the show called? We're Here.
We're Here.
The drag
awesome.
show. He's going to be on it. And he was on their first season over there, episode 3.
Atrocious episode from Branson. That showed exactly how backwoods this town is. But yeah,
he's not from here. I am.
They go anywhere else, people might give them, kind of the occasional strange look. But here, everywhere, if they even stopped just to talk for a couple of minutes, people were coming out of the woodwork to tell them to get out before we call the cops.
Yeah,
it was horrible.
But it ended well. They had a great show.
Yes,
but
they did.
Chris was on that show. He was one of the ones who got picked to be performing, and he's going to be on Shmoosh 24-hour feed too.
That's awesome.
Him and a couple of guys from Branson, Hollister area who my son went to school with and who call me mom. They do a show that they call 3 Guys on a Couch, and so we're hoping to team up with them. They talk about nerdy stuff and stuff like that too. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
We'll have to get them on the show.
I know. Also, guys, don't forget to check us out at GeekyKOOL.com, and that is our website. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube. Are you coming over to say something?
You always have me do the tag.
Okay, come on over.
Yeah, come give the tag. It's great.
So, GeekyKOOL.com, where?
It's your one-stop shop for all things nerd.
He has a better radio voice than I do. It's a thing. So go check us out, and we're hoping to keep bringing you all this stuff and writing articles and everything, and hopefully we can get more people involved. And if you want to write for us, let us know. Let Larry know, or I know. I'm also thinking, because I know a lot of people are homeschooling this year, if you have a high schooler who is being homeschooled and needs some like English credits and stuff like that and is into nerdy stuff, we are offering a staff writer position for any high schoolers, or they have to be over 15, just because, you know, it's better, but they can come on and write articles for us and show us like their ideas and what they think of things, because I'm old and Larry's older than me, so
that I am. He's younger than both of us, but you know, if there's somebody that's doing theater or tech journalism, something, if it's something you want to do videos for us to meet school credit, if you want to manage our social media for school credit, come talk to us. We are here to help you out.
Like, why didn't I think of this?
Oh, exactly.
We're offering an internship. We blew his mind. We're offering an internship and some staff writer positions for high schoolers. So if you guys have a high schooler, or you are a high schooler and you want some credit for English or tech or electives or whatever, just let us know.
Or if you're college and you know, they can swing that works too. So yeah, we're happy to give you an internship. We will pay you what I make.
And what I make.
Yeah.
Look, he's like, wait.
Hold it. You get paid? What?
I would love to, but
yeah, maybe someday. I'm hopeful when we're as big as you know, like
Keith and Gary getting famous over there.
Like, I know, right? When we're big like them.
Whoa. First of all, let me at least nip that in the bud in case my wife hears it. We're not getting paid. We're not even rich or famous. Yeah, we're working on it. We are really working on it.
You are.
That's why we have an Indiegogo. So that's
all I can say is, every time I open up any other website, it's always, well, Mr. Keith says.
I know, you're so famous now. It's like amazing. I actually told somebody the other day, I was like, I know Mr. Keith. It's all good. I name dropped you. Boom.
And then Keith said something else really stupid.
No, that's Gary's job. I love Gary, but yeah, that's his job. So. You just laugh at him when he says something stupid. So.
Oh, Keith's laugh is my favorite part. Seriously, when he gets you going and you just put your head down and all you hear is your giggle. It's amazing. Oh, guys.
All right, guys.
Everybody have a good day. And you know, we'll hopefully, oh, look, he's showing more pictures.
One more very important picture. Happy birthday.
Happy
90th birthday to Mr.
Right on.
Thomas Sean Connery.
Sir.
Academy Award winner.
Very, very cool.
And veteran.
Yep.
And veteran. But,
yes.
Along with that, did you see the Enola Holmes trailer?
Yes.
You need to check it out, Ace.
I will.
Because it looks cool.
My boyfriend got home a minute ago, like a little bit ago. You guys saw him walk in, and he made dinner. So I'm going to get off here so I can eat.
All right. We'll see you guys all later.
Bye,
see you next week. Make sure to come back for our 21st episode where we actually get to drink. Oh, that's not it. So.
And get off our lawn.
I haven't drank since I was 22, but I've been thinking about.
Oh my God, a 24-hour live drunk stream.
Now we're talking.
No. Bye, guys.
Bye. Have a great evening. Stay geeky.